Hello and welcome to another trophy collection video. This is the first one I've done of these in quite a few months, actually the first one of 2024. The last video I did was back in the fall of 2023. So yeah, this is like a bit of a podcast kind of little video where I just kind of go through my trophy collection and show you some new platinums that I've gotten recently. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to go back to some of my older videos and check out my other trophies that I've gotten because I go through my entire collection. But yeah, this is just kind of me just kind of talking about the games that I've gotten platinums for, why I got the platinums for them, a little bit of a review of the game itself and the platinum journey and all that stuff. So yeah, without further ado, I'll get right into it. So first up, we got the game Unpacking. This game came out a couple years ago at this point. I can't remember exactly what year, but I did play this one on Switch when it came out with my partner. We had a fun little time with it. It's funny. It's hard to describe it as a video game. It's kind of more so just a little point and click kind of like design kind of game where you get to design the look of an apartment and a house. So you basically, it's about a character that moves into different places, like throughout their childhood, they're moving into their first room, then they get their first apartment, then they move into a house. So you kind of go through the life of this character, this kind of character you never meet, but you kind of get to see their life through all of the things that they unpack. So it's kind of cool to see how like someone's life can be viewed through the items they own and acquire and all that stuff. So that's a really cool part about it, and there's a lot of nice little endearing moments. But yeah, as for a game, it's basically just picking up items and putting them on shelves, putting them in boxes, taking them out of boxes, putting things on the wall. Not a whole lot of gameplay here, but it's a very endearing and kind of relaxing game. And as well, not much of a challenge at all for a platinum. There's a few little things you might need to look up of how to do it, but it's mainly just kind of like doing little miscellaneous things like putting an item in a certain place or clicking on an item and interacting with it, doing little things like that. But you really will not have any challenge whatsoever with this one at all. It's mainly just knowing exactly what to do, and some of them you may just get on your own as well. But yeah, Unpacking, I really liked it. It's a very cute game, and there's a lot of nice little moments in it. Like, everyone can probably relate to a lot of the little things that happen in this game, and things that, even a lot of items, like you're taking things out of the boxes and you're like, oh, I had that exact computer monitor, or I had that exact toy or item or whatever. And there's actually a bunch of little games and DVDs that you can take out of boxes that you can tell what the games are supposed to be. Like, you can tell, oh, that's an Xbox 360 game, and like some of the DVDs and Blu-rays that you take out, you can kind of recognize the movie covers. So that was really cool. One thing that was annoying about it was that the game kind of doesn't let you put items in certain places. Like certain items have to be in a certain place before the level will complete, basically. Like, you try to put a frying pan on a shelf in the kitchen and it's like, nope, that's not where frying pans go. And it tells you, it kind of like flashes to tell you like this item is incorrect, which I found kind of funny because there's so many items that people can put in anywhere and they're like, oh, well, that's where that goes. That's where I put it in my house. Very, very little nitpick there because you'll figure out where it goes eventually, but that's basically the only kind of challenge you'll get in this game, but that's fine. It doesn't have to be a challenging game. It's just a nice, fun, little, cute game. So yeah, Unpacking is a great little game to play. So Cocoon is probably one of the coolest puzzle games I've played in years. It got a lot of Game of the Year nominations, and people were mentioning it on a lot of lists at the end of the year. So as you can see, I played it like right at the start of 2024, like first week of January. I really, really love this game. I thought the whole mechanic of kind of going inside of worlds, you're basically carrying around these little orbs that are kind of worlds, basically, and you can go inside of an orb, and it has its own world in there, and then you can even have an orb inside of that orb. So it gets pretty like mind fuck territory, basically. Like, you're doing puzzles where you have to take orbs and put them inside of other orbs, or take them out of orbs and put them here. Like, there's a lot of really like brain melting moments in this game. But if you like puzzle games, it's a must play for sure. And there's probably some moments you may get stuck on because, like I said, it can get really tricky. But man, what a cool, like, it's like a top-down little adventure game as well. So like, it controls great, it looks great, and like the world itself, everything's so alien and weird. So there's basically some collectibles you do have to find in this game, but everything you can go back to via like chapter select, so nothing's missable. And it's just a joy to explore and figure out the things in this game. So it's, in terms of like a difficult platinum, I wouldn't say it's difficult, because if you get stuck on anything, of course you can just look it up. But it's definitely a game I insist you like really give a shot at each puzzle and really try to wrap your head around like how it can be done, because when you do figure it out, it's just it's just one of those puzzle games. Like the best puzzle games are the ones when you figure something out on your own. You feel like you can achieve anything. Like you feel like you have the brain of a mastermind. So, but as well, like I said, the design and the look of this game is just so cool. So yeah, like I said, there's some missable things in here the first time around if you don't get them like throughout a certain chapter. But like I said, you can go back and clean it up afterwards. So nothing missable here. Everything's attainable. And absolutely highly recommend Cocoon because, yeah, there's a reason it got all these best Game of the Year nominations and all this stuff. It's amazing game. So Post Void, there's no platinum for this one. I did get 100% though. I kind of was hoping there was a platinum as I was playing it. And I realized once I was a little bit into the game, I was like, oh, there's no platinum. But I bought this one really cheap. I think I bought it for like $3 or $4, but it's a really short roguelike where it's a first-person shooter game where you just run through these hallways and shoot people. But the art style, it's kind of like if Hotline Miami wasn't top-down, if it was like more of a first-person shooter. Like it's very 2D, almost Doom-like characters, but the shooting feels really chunky and like thick, kind of like it has a lot of bang to it. And it's fast, like you are running through these hallways shooting people. The music's crazy. It's kind of psychedelic as well. It has these like really crazy effects, and like the blood flies everywhere, and like the colors are very like acid like, you know, like as if you were on like an acid trip. It's really cool. And actually, you know what I did is so there's a trophy here, listen through the music once. I got that just by playing the game, but because the tracks start to loop. But what I actually did is I turned off the music and I went on Spotify on my PlayStation and I put on the Hotline Miami soundtrack, and that made the game even better. Because I've listened to the Hotline Miami soundtrack so many times because I've played those games so much, and I had them on my iPod and everything. But man, like the Hotline Miami music like really accelerated my enjoyment, and also like my gameplay, like my skill. I almost feel like I was doing better playing with that music. But yeah, no platinum, but like worth playing through really quick too. You could get all the trophies in probably like an hour or two if you're really committed. But yeah, or even less really. But yeah, Post Void, it was really cheap. I think it's usually pretty cheap, but if you like Hotline Miami and Doom, then absolutely check this one out. Robocop Rogue City was a game that when it was announced, I was really excited for because I really like Robocop. I like the movies. He's just a cool character. And I just, I like that whole time of like 80s, like action sci-fi movies. So of course I was excited, but then when I saw the trailer and some gameplay, I was like, oh, it's first person. Like I want to see Robocop. I want to see that I'm controlling Robocop. I don't know. Just kind of felt like that should be more of a third person thing. But yeah, then the game came out and I said, yeah, maybe I'll check it out. But it got some pretty good reviews. A lot of people said like it's really fun. It's like a nice, fun, cheesy, like linear first-person action game and shooting game. And I was like, yeah, I'll check it out probably. And anyways, saw someone was selling it for cheap on Marketplace, so I picked it up. And yeah, I had a great time with it. As you can see, I got the platinum, of course. But yeah, it's basically like a straightforward, level-based first-person shooter with some open areas as well. There's some areas where you can wander around and do little side quests and find collectibles and stuff. So as someone who likes to like scour those areas for like everything, then I was able to clean up a lot of the trophies for doing that stuff. Like I said, there's a few little things you got to do, like side quests and stuff. As you can see here, I don't think there's many spoilers or anything here, but not a whole lot to spoil in this game. It's just kill enemies and, be Robocop, do police work kind of thing, clean up the streets. But yeah, there's some story missions as well, but then there's some side quests that you can do. There's skills and upgrades you can do as well, which you should come pretty naturally. But yeah, there is some missable stuff, and I don't remember if you can go back and clean up some of this stuff. I don't think there's a chapter select, so you may want to look at some of the trophies beforehand just to make sure you're on a level and you're like, okay, I have to do this certain thing on this level. Like this one here, all old factory hostels. That one is probably one of the more challenging ones. You kind of have to like make sure you clear out this kind of like gauntlet type area where like there's like enemies come in waves. So that one, I think I had to do a few restart checkpoints on that one. And yeah, some of the stuff may be missable if you're really not trying to do them, but they're not. I didn't find them very missable at all. But yeah, some of this is just miscellaneous stuff that you have to keep an eye out for. The shooting range I was like, okay, 250 points, maybe that sounds like it may be challenging. I did this shit no problem. So as long as you're just aiming directly at the bullseyes on the targets, you'll do it, no problem. And yeah, there's some really fun stuff too, like, you know, eliminate an enemy with a throwable object. You'll do that in like the first level easily. Moving motorcycle, the gas tank. There's a level with like a ton of motorcycles, so you have a lot of opportunities for that as well. And of course, if you've seen the first Robocop movie, you will know what this part's talking about. Shoot an enemy in a sensitive spot. That was probably one of the first trophies I got in the game. Probably one of the first trophies anyone gets in the game. As you can see, it's 91.2% common. So yeah, honestly, if you like first-person shooters that are just kind of like, what I liked about this game is like it's not cover based. It's not really, you just walk into a room and you just gun down everyone because you're Robocop, so you can soak up the bullets. But you know, as the game goes on and the enemies have better weapons, then it does get a bit trickier. But the first couple levels, you're just fighting like street goons and you just turn them into like red mist with your pistol. It's awesome. And the Anodyne, which is his like famous like automatic pistol, you upgrade it to like the strongest. Like if you get every upgrade, you're gonna just be wasting everyone in your path. So just awesome, really fun like shooting game. Like just, it's like a shooting gallery. You just walk around and you just see enemies and you just pop pop pop. They're dead. So if you can play for cheap, I don't think I would have been super satisfied if I paid a full price for it. But I got it pretty cheap, and if you can get it for cheap or in a sale, then yeah, have a fun time with it. And the Platinum trophy is very achievable, so yeah, keep an eye out for that one if it sounds up your alley. Call of the Sea, this is a bit of what you'd call a walking simulator type game with some puzzles, but what really intrigued me to this was like the cool oceanic mystery, which I'm really into. There's quite a few games I've played that kind of have that theme. If you've seen some of my older videos, I've talked about like my enjoyment of like Lovecraftian horror and mysteries and things like that. So yeah, this game has that for sure. It's basically just you play a woman who shows up on an island. You're looking for like your husband who's on a lost expedition, and you go from there. So without any spoilers, it goes into really interesting places. Yeah, basically for a platinum for this one, you just have to like make sure you find secrets, you find items, you do little collectibles, find story logs. I didn't find it too challenging, but you can go back through a chapter select and mop up anything, so nothing's missable here. As far as I remember, I don't think there is, but yeah, maybe check out a trophy guide just to make sure. But yeah, I didn't find it. I don't think there was anything that I like was gonna miss completely. Yeah, this is a really cool little indie title. I liked it a lot. There's some really cool voice acting. There's some really cool moments that I enjoyed. It's an underrated one for sure. So I check it out if it's cheap, or if it's on PlayStation Plus. I think it was on PlayStation Plus when I downloaded it, but I don't know if it still is or not. But like, if you enjoy these kind of like walking simulator first-person puzzle games, then Call of the Sea is a really cool one to check out, and pretty straightforward platinum as well too, and nothing, as far as I remember, nothing missable. So yeah, like I said, oceanic kind of mystery. There's a little bit of humor in the game too, which is kind of cool, and there's some like nice little like heartfelt moments and stuff. And it takes place in like the 30s or 40s, so there's a little bit of like the BioShock kind of feel to it. Like you're on this island there's some weird technology and stuff. So yeah, really cool game. So Donuts'n'Justice is one of those very cheap, very quick platinum games. I've mentioned in previous videos, if you've seen those, that I don't buy and play these really cheap platinum games, like the ones that can be done in like a minute or two, or 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. This is the second of those games that I have a platinum for. The other one is Lady in a Leotard with a Gun. The only reason I got that one is because I saw a video of it and I thought it looked cool. It kind of reminded me of like Killer 7, if you've played that game before, the art style. So I played it, and yeah, it's an absolute piece of shit garbage, but I couldn't help but just complete it and get the platinum, because I'm like, I'm already in this. I can't back out now. Donuts'n'Justice, I saw a video of it, of someone playing it, and I don't know why I thought, oh, that looks kind of cool, and then I realized, oh, this is one of those cheap trophy games, cheap platinum games. So this is the first level. The Old Town is the first level. I completed it at 12:35, and I got the platinum at 12:55. So this is a 20-minute platinum. But the art style is cool. It reminded me of an NES, you know, with those retro retro pixel games. It's a side scroller. You're just shooting people. Kind of reminded me of like Contra or something. But so the graphics are cool. There's like cool little enemies and stuff. It gets kind of weird at the end. You fight a big donut creature, alien actually, and like the two guys that you can pick look like Miami Vice. Like they look like Don Johnson and the other guy, Crockett and shit, I can't remember. Anyways, Donuts'n'Justice was, I think I paid like $2 or $3 for it. So for the price of a coffee, basically nowadays, I got 20 minutes of enjoyment out of this stupid little game that reminds me of something I would have played on like the NES when I was 5 years old. So yeah, I guess no regrets, but also, you know, whatever. I'm not saying you should check this one out, but I mean, maybe whatever floats your boat, man. Ooh, Elden Ring. I'm so excited I got the platinum for this one. I mentioned in another video, actually, I think when this game came out, I think I did a video around then, and I mentioned I'm going for the platinum for this one because, yeah, Elden Ring's one of the greatest games of all time. One of the best games I've ever played. It's just an insurmountable mountain of insaneness that you climb and just hold on and try to survive because it's just, I mean, what else can be said about this game that hasn't been said by other people, that it's just one of the all-time greats. So the only few trophies I had to go back and get, so as you can see, I was playing this when it first came out in the late winter, early spring of 2022, and then I went back this, actually almost 2 years to the release date. I think I realized I got the platinum the exact 2-year release date, the 2-year anniversary of its release date. I think it came out February 25th, 2022, which is really cool. But yeah, as you can see, I had to get all the different endings. So I did that. Make sure I did a little save and did all that stuff because all the endings are really cool. And I had to go and clean up a few bosses that I didn't do. I had to do Moog and I had to do Melania. Those were fun. Those are incredibly hard bosses. But yeah, a few of them that I had to clean up. And I also had to get the legendary armaments, the Ashen Remains, all the talismans, all that stuff. A few different items that I was missing. So I had to look up what to do for those. There's a few little areas. You had like hidden areas. Some of them are really hidden that you have to do these like crazy things to get to, or make sure you do this before you do it. Like, as if you've played these Soulsborne games, you know that some of the criteria you have to meet to do some of these things isn't crazy, and like I don't know how some people even figured out how to do it. Long story short, I got the platinum for Elden Ring, and this is one of the best games of all time. I love this game to death. I can't wait for the DLC in July. I'm so stoked I got the platinum for Elden Ring, and 10% of people have it, so it's just a decently high amount, but I think this is probably one of the more accessible platinums, especially with all the different ways you can like get assistance in this game. Like you can, you know, use your ashen remains or your spirits to summon people, and you can also summon real people. There's all these different subreddits you can go onto and get help. So great game. If you haven't played Elden Ring, I mean, it's not for everyone. Some people are going to hate this game, but it's one of the best games. It's hailed as one of the best games of all time for a reason, for sure. So yeah, Elden Ring. So what remains of Edith Finch? I played this game back on PlayStation 4 years and years ago, and I got all the trophies for it. It didn't have a platinum on PlayStation 4, so I just got like 100% of all the trophies. But yeah, they did a PlayStation 5 version of it, and I actually got my partner to play it because I told her, I said, you're gonna really like this game. You should play it. It only takes like 2 hours to beat. It's like just like a movie basically. So we sat down one night and I watched her play it, and she really liked it, and just played through the story kind of casually. And then I went back and cleaned up some trophies that, because she just was playing it naturally, but I went back and did like the little things that you got to do, because most of the trophies in this game are just random little miscellaneous ones that you wouldn't really get on your own if you weren't trying for them. Some of them you might, but yeah, so I did. It's very easy platinum, and everything, like I said, everything you can go back through chapter select and do it. But yeah, if you have not played What Remains of Edith Finch, it's similar to Call of the Sea. It's like a walking simulator, puzzle-ish game. I wouldn't say the puzzles are as much. It's not as much of a puzzle game as it is more so just like an interactive story where you just kind of are in these moments. You're in a house, you're exploring and looking through all these different things, but you get to interact with all these things that bring you to a specific moment in this character's life, where you get to kind of participate in like almost like a little mini game or like a controllable little moment that you kind of get to play out. So yeah, it's not hard. There's like no combat or anything in this game. There's nothing that you can really fail at or anything. It's more so just the journey and like the emotional story that it tells, and great story. I really, really, really love this game. So yeah, no spoilers, but What Remains of Edith Finch, it's really great. Like there's like a mystery almost element to it. It's very riveting. So yeah, if you haven't played What Remains of Edith Finch, I would get on that pronto. So Sephonie, this is a really cool indie game made by the developers Analgesic Productions, which is just 2 people. This is actually the first of a couple Analgesic games that in this video that I'll be getting to later. But this was my first introduction to this developer, and I was very impressed with this game. I thought I saw a video of this game that I thought looked really cool. It's basically like a third-person platformer adventure game where you control these 3 people on an island who kind of go there to do research, and you end up finding these really cool discoveries. And it's a lot of platforming and like wall running and basically like environmental puzzles. Like you have to figure out how to get to this place, and you have to wall run to jump over here and then do this platforming challenge. It's kind of like there's a little bit of parkour involved, but the really cool part about the control of it that is like almost takes some getting used to is like you steer your character with left and right, and if you want to run or go forward, you hold the right trigger. So your right trigger kind of propels you forward, almost like you're accelerating like a car. And you jump, so like you run towards a wall, you hold the right trigger, and then you jump into the wall to do a wall run kind of thing. So it does take a little bit of getting used to. You will find yourself like running off edges and stuff at first, and even maybe into the game because it can be a little tricky. But when you get used to it, it's really cool, and you'll be like doing these like really cool advanced maneuvers and stuff. But what's cool about this game too is when you link with a different species that you find on the island, it's like there's like a little like puzzle game where it's like you match colors together when you link with it, as you can see here, this linking trophy. Really cool. Like it's kind of like Bust a Move almost, or Puyo Puyo, where like you match colors to create like combos and stuff. And that's how you link with these species. But the music in this game too is really great, and that's another thing I'll mention about this developer is the music's always on point. But yeah, this is a really cool, like nostalgic kind of game because it reminds you of like the old school like platformers that everyone played growing up, like N64, PlayStation, GameCube, all that stuff, PlayStation 2. So has an old school feel to it, but also it tells a really cool, interesting story. And that's another thing about this developer. They always tell really cool stories with really cool writing, emotional, nostalgic, kind of you can relate to the characters. And in terms of the trophies, they're very easy to get. I don't think there's anything missable. There's a post-game room that's kind of a secret, and there's the little collectibles, these non-key items that you'll find are all around. But nothing is super challenging here, and that's what's really cool. You just kind of enjoy the story, enjoy the game, and maybe hunt for a few little things extra, and you'll get the platinum basically. So Sephonie is a game definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. That like if you like platforming puzzle games, definitely check it out, because this developer, they're doing really cool things, and as you will see as I get to the next stuff, they got a lot of great games. But first we got What the Golf. What the Golf just came out on PlayStation 5 recently. I think it came out a long time ago on other consoles, but I never played it. But yeah, as you can see, I got all the trophies for the updates, which is just like little DLC, free DLC expansion stuff. But man, this is a great game. It's so stupid and funny. It's you have to play it to kind of get its sense of humor, but it's basically, you never know. It's one of those games you never know what's coming next. You never know what it's going to do. It's called golf. It says it's a golf game, but it's not a golf game. It's basically hard to explain. It's like if you've played like the WarioWare games or any other little mini game collections where like with like stupid little fast little things you do. Like some of the levels in this game can take you like 10 seconds to beat. Some of them are like 5 seconds, but some of them will take you longer. Like it's, oh man, how do you even describe this game? It's basically just you're thrown into a little situation and it tells you how to beat the game. You basically like hit a flag at the end of the level. Basically, that's usually how most of the levels, or I think all the levels end, is like you hit a flag and that completes the level. But how you hit the flag, what you hit it with, what you need to do is always different. Yeah, a lot of stuff in here you will not expect. A lot of really cool references, video game references, jokes, comedy, shenanigans. It's just all over the place, and I really loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. It was fun to play. In terms of trophies, a lot of the stuff you'll get on your own, but there's some little hidden things you got to find, little collectibles of if that's what you call them. There's one log terminals all around there's like a hub area, and there's all these computers that you kind of have to seek out and find. So if you're not looking for those, you'll probably miss some of them. But yeah, just search, make sure you find all of them, and you won't have any problem with this one. Some of them, like I said, you might have to look up, but it's not too hard. Some of this stuff is a little grindy, but like some of it you'll get on your own easily, like 10,000 strokes. I think I got that one naturally for sure. Daily challenge, there's all these daily challenges, so 9 and 18. So I had to play this game on 18 different days to do these little daily challenges that are in the main menu. Super easy. Some of the daily challenges take you like a minute or two, not even. And then you have to play one of them on every single day. So just something you have to kind of commit to, but I mean, easy. So like I just turned this game on every day and played the daily challenge for like just over 2 weeks and had fun with it every time, because this game is it's fun. It's just a really fun, quirky, stupid game that anyone can play and have fun with. And if you sit down and play this game for 5 minutes and aren't having fun and want to keep playing, then I don't know, you are lacking a fun bone in your body, I guess is all I'll say. I don't know how to, whatever. But anyways, What the Golf, awesome, super fun, super funny, great game, platinum, easy, not super hard, and a really fun platinum. So yeah. So next up, another analgesic game, Even the Ocean. And it is summertime, and there is loud-ass construction going on outside my window right now, so if you hear any shit underneath my voice, I apologize. 'Tis the season. So Even the Ocean actually is one of the early games from analgesic. It came out in 2016. So after I really liked Sephonie, I was like, okay, maybe I'll check out what else they got, and Even the Ocean was really cheap, so I checked it out. And another thing too, like when I was talking about the other game, how it has nostalgic kind of like feeling, like reminds us of older systems we played. This one kind of has that like PlayStation 1, Genesis, almost like Super Nintendo, like 2D side scroller feel to it, and it's puzzle as well. So you play this character who just kind of goes into these areas, and you have I don't want to spoil this one even, like there's not much to spoil, but like the power-ups and the way that you use the environment to figure out how to get through is really cool. It's not super challenging, but it will use your brain and your puzzle parts of your brain to figure this stuff out, which is really cool. But the story is really cool too. It involves this kind of like apocalyptic threat, and almost has this like kind of RPG feeling to it, like, oh, the character has to save the world kind of thing. But as well, like there's these really cool heartfelt moments. Like I said, analgesic is really cool with writing. Their stories always like kind of have these like deeper meanings and stuff. But as well, goddamn, the music in this game is so good. Like I really love the music that these developers make. They nail it. They're really good at gameplay style. They're really good at gameplay style, art design, and music, and writing. Like they kind of nail it in every factor, in my opinion. But yeah, really easy platinum as well. Like you just kind of have to play through the game, beat it, and there's a little hidden thing at the very end. This part's kind of like the hidden part, and then the rest is just visit these little things in the town. There's like a hub area that you kind of go back to. I really liked Even the Ocean. I think I liked it even more than Sephonie. It's just totally up my alley. Side scroller puzzle game with really cool little environmental power-ups and stuff. So yeah, check out Even the Ocean for sure. And the last game on my list, and the last analgesic game, and the one I enjoyed the most by far, is Anodyne 2 Return to Dust. This is a sequel to Anodyne, which came out, I think, over 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago at this point. I never played it, but it's one of those sequels you don't have to play you don't have to play the first game to get the sequel. But man, Anodyne 2, I could go on and on about this game for a long time. I'm not going to. I'm going to stop myself. But once again, very nostalgic game that feels like a N64, PlayStation 1 kind of platforming game where like it's an adventure where you go out and you're this character named Nano, and you walk around this crazy world, very dreamlike, surreal kind of world with these weird little creatures and critters and people everywhere. And basically, if I could sell this game, really, it's kind of like Inception, the movie Inception, the Christopher Nolan one, where you meet these people and they're infected by dust, and dust is kind of like this like dark matter in the world. It kind of like makes people's lives terrible, like makes them bad. It makes them kind of like bad. It makes them negative. And you shrink down to nanoscale, which is the first trophy here, nanoscale. So you kind of enter their mind, enter their bodies kind of, and you go inside this little mini world, and it's like a Zelda dungeon. It's like a top-down it becomes like a top-down, like Link's Awakening, Link to the Past kind of 2D top-down game, and you have like a little mini dungeon. And there's combat in there, there's puzzles, there's like a boss sometimes, and there's always something different about the dungeon, like gameplay-wise. Like one of them, like you have like a copy, like a mirror image that does everything you do. It's different every time, and that's what I really loved about it. Every single time you shrink down and go into someone, you never know what it's gonna be. And I gotta mention, of course, the music as well. The music of this game is so fucking cool. It's so catchy. It's so, I don't know. I love the music. I can't sing the praises of the developers enough. Like, they really nail the look of these games, the feeling, the writing, the music. Like, if you enjoy indie experimental games that evoke that feeling of like games we all grew up playing when we were kids or teenagers or whatever, or even adults, like however old you were in the 90s, early 2000s, like these guys, they know what they're doing. It's very straightforward, platinum as well. Eventually, at one point, these collectibles pop up around the world that you can use. They're called meta coins, and you can use them as coins to buy like debug kind of options and cheat codes and stuff, which is really cool. Another thing about their games is they always have these like game breaking things that allow you to kind of just play the game almost like with cheat codes. So they're very accessible as well too. Like anyone can play and beat these games with the systems that they provide if you want to. And if not, you can just play the game normally. Very straightforward, platinum, very easy, and very enjoyable game, and very engaging game. I was sucked into it. I thought it was great. I really love the world. I really love the story. I loved everything about it. And like I said, all of their games, I've had no problems getting the platinums for. Like, it's kind of like they want you to kind of see everything in the game and unlock the platinum kind of thing. So yeah, Anodyne 2 came out in 2019, so it's a few years old at this point. But man, if you like the kind of like weird N64, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast kind of look of games that are like very popular kind of nowadays, but also a really cool, engaging, weird story with a lot of weird stuff in this game. I'm telling you, this is like, if you like surreal games, you're gonna really enjoy what's in this, because there's a lot of really cool, almost like creepy moments as well, kind of, but not too creepy. But I mean, there's one moment in the game actually that does have a bit of an unnerving, creepy, almost horror-like moment, which I really thought was cool. But also, I was very confused during the moment. I had no idea what was happening, but it was very, very cool. So yeah, Anodyne 2, Return to Dust. I absolutely worth checking out in my opinion. Like, put this one on your playlist for sure if you're into anything that I just mentioned. Adventure games, puzzle games, games with good stories, games with awesome music. Yeah. So that wraps up my newest trophy collection video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, checking out the video. Give it a like if you like. Check out some of the other videos if you want. And I will see you in the next one. See you later.